Good evening, fuckers. We are back with the next Train Simulator Classic request video. And let's hope this one goes better than yesterday's one of Woking. So, for this, we are doing something a bit seasonal. I guess this is probably about as close to a Christmas video as I'm likely to do. We are on the Great Western Main Line. And yes, it is winter, and although it's not snowing at the moment, it is overcast. It's only just stopped snowing. And well, the tracks need a bit of clearance, so it's time to dig out the snowplough. And I don't mean the small little MSPs that clip to the front of the bogies, which you see on plenty of locos and multiple units for that matter. No, we're bringing out the big old ZZA, and no, I don't know what ZZA stands for. Come on, I couldn't come up with anything. ZZA doesn't give me a lot to work with, you know. So yes, we are going to be using this, and the priority route as far as the Great Western Main Line is concerned is to get Paddington to Reading cleared. So that is what we are going to be doing, starting at Paddington and heading to Reading. So it's a distance of, I think it's somewhere in the region of 27 miles. But with no stops along the way, it shouldn't take too long. Right, I've already done the specifics. The only other thing to add is that it's 9:30 AM, and the trains we are going to be using, the good old Class 33 in Network Southeast livery. So, right, let's get this up and running. So, here we are, and the unmistakable sight of the big bastard ZZA snowplough. Now, this thing's all set up, ready to go. We don't have to do very much to set it up. However, there is something we need to do before we can actually start, and that is change cabs. So, right, we'll put the cab light on because it is a bit murky in that, and I think that's everything that I need to do as far as this setup is concerned. So, yeah, it's two Class 33s. Unfortunately, it has numbered them both 33114. Yeah, so yeah, they really are clones of each other. But yeah, we are in this one, the second one. This is the one that is actually driven. I'm not doing it just to be like, you know, awkward or make it a stupid setup. This is actually the setup they would use. It would be double-headed, and it's the rearmost locomotive that is used to actually drive the thing. It also would seem that I got the distance very wrong. I said it's about 26 miles. It's actually very nearly 36 miles. So it's going to take longer than I thought. But nevertheless, we are all set. I believe the the signal is green. But yeah, our view is not fantastic throughout this entire run. We also need to get our lights sorted out. I think they are all done for a moment. I thought the lighting was over there, but no, it's not. Okay, let's get underway. So our max speed as we come out of Paddington station is 40, and we can instantly see a lot of snow being cleared away by the ZZA unit. We'll ease off on the throttle slightly as we are approaching 40 mph. There we go, so we can now coast through a bit. We are approaching a 50 mph zone, but while we are using the ZZA, the maximum speed that the loco is permitted to do is 45. So that's going to be the max speed we'll be doing on this entire run. Nevertheless, it still shouldn't take too long. Especially as, like I say, we are going to, we are not going to have any stops along the way. Now this ZZA Snowplough is from Just Trains, and I thought it was only for a limited time. In fact, it has been the case from the moment it was made available, as we now reach the 50 zone, so we can take it up to 45. But yeah, this ZZA Snowplough is absolutely free, so I'll include the link to it in the description, and if you're interested, yeah, you can go and grab it, and it will cost you absolutely nothing. And even if you're not that interested, the fact that it costs you nothing, you may as well grab it. So we do have a trackside view here. Do we get another? No, we've got an overhead view this time. Of course, it's following the rear cab because that's the one that we are actually driving. So this snowplough, perhaps unsurprisingly, is only used on the real sort of like major routes. So it's used on the East Coast Main Line, the West Coast Main Line, the Great Western Main Line, and that's pretty much it. There are other variants of these snowplows as well. There's one, it's like a giant corkscrew for like really heavy sort of like builds ups of snow and that. I don't think it gets used much at all in this country, and I've not seen it in the game, so I've no idea if it is actually in the game or not. So I've not seen it, but that doesn't mean it is not there. There is also a specially modified version which is used on the third rail electrified lines. I've not seen that one either, although I dare say it doesn't look much different to this. And originally that was the line I was going to do for this snowplough run, but in the end I thought, no, we'll stick with one of the lines that it would actually be used on. There are several locos that would use it. It tends to be, especially these days, the older locos that have been relegated to the rather menial sort of tasks. The Class 37 is probably the one that does it the most. In fact, the Class 37 is probably the best suited. The 33 that I'm using here, it does use it, but yeah, you look at the wheel arrangement, it's a Bobo wheel arrangement. I don't think it's ideally suited. The Class 37 being a Coco configuration would be much better at doing this. So would the Class 50, but for some reason the Class 50 was not included in the list of locos that would normally use this thing. So I missed what station that was. We have Ealing Broadway coming up. So, yeah, on the Great Western Main Line, if this thing was being brought out, the top priority would be to, yeah, get the Paddington to Reading section cleared, because no matter where it is you're going on the Great Western Main Line, you start by going from Paddington to Reading. And whether you stay on the Great Western Main Line or if you switch south and go onto the Southwestern expressways, or if you start heading north and joining the Chiltern line, you've all got to come this way anyway. So as we go through Ealing Broadway, yeah, plenty of would-be passengers getting absolutely covered in snow. But yeah, our view from within the cab is, to put it mildly, very limited. Yeah, we can't see a fucking thing. So I think you would certainly understand why I've been sticking with the exterior view for most of this. Now the reason for the double-headed setup and why we're in the rear of the two trains. I'd like to think it was pretty obvious, pretty self-evident, but you never know. But yeah, I mean, if we should hit something that's within the snow or whatever, and it's going to cause a hefty crash, then yeah, we have this very hefty sort of barrier between the snowplough and us, and that's why it's there. They could have put, like, you know, like an old unused freight wagon there, but it just wouldn't have the weight or the structural sort of integrity. So if we did hit something, there'd be no point in it being there. Whereas having an entire locomotive between us and the plough, yeah, we've got nothing to worry about, even if we hit something. And okay, yeah, we can do a substantial amount of damage at 45 mph, but yeah, we will be perfectly safe this side of the sort of the barrier loco. I have got the timelines a bit sort of mixed up. I mean, we've got Network Southeast Class 33, they're both Network Southeast, but we have a Network Rail ZZA Snowplough. I should have really chosen one of the ploughs that either has no logo at all, or at the most has a BR logo on it. Southall station coming up. I should probably signal as we are approaching each of these stations. I also did go a bit too fast. It's not going to yeah, class that as an error, because yeah, I'd have to be actually speeding, you know, over the actual line speed limit for it to be classed as an error. It doesn't take into account the fact that yeah, with the snowplough attached, we should only be doing 45 tops. So anyway, as I was saying earlier, yeah, other locos that could use this, yeah, the 37, the 31, which even though that's another loco with the Bobo wheel configuration, I actually think the 31 would be a good choice. If you go back a few years, the 40 was often used, as was the 45. Those two really make sense. One Coco, one wheel configuration. A lot of weight. Yeah, they would have been fine choices. The 47 was used. No big surprise there. But yeah, I didn't see the 50 on the list, which did surprise me. And a lot of the more modern locomotives I didn't see, although, like I say, it's really the older locos that have been sort of relegated to doing this task. So even though locos like the 60 would have been an ideal choice, no, you don't see it. Because the 56 would have been a great choice. I'm surprised that didn't appear on any of the lists, but no, it weren't there. Class 70 was not there. That would have been, it probably would have been a bit of an over-the-top choice, but nevertheless it could certainly do the job, no doubt about that. So we're coming up to Hayes and Harlington Station. No one's moved despite me alerting them, so if they all now get covered, it's their fault. So ETA has us arriving at Reading at 10:10, so it's just over 20 minutes. So yeah, a bit more track maintenance. We did the RHTT in an earlier video, getting rid of the old leaves on the line and all that guff. So now we can get rid of the snow off the line, and if this snowplough doesn't work, it's probably because it's the wrong kind of snow. I wish I could remember what that sign meant, because I was waiting for it to get up close so I could read it, completely forgetting that, yeah, all that snow being thrown out the side meant I wouldn't have been able to see a bloody thing. At West Drayton, next station that we will be passing through, it's just under a mile away. I'm pretty sure we are still in Middlesex. I can't actually remember what county Reading is in. I don't think it's Oxfordshire, but yeah, don't quote me on that. So yeah, West Drayton, again, loads of people getting absolutely buried in the stuff, and as always they're just walking along as if it was nothing. course on sections like this, where we have all these other lines running alongside us, the snow I'm clearing off here is getting blown onto at least the next two lines next to us. And of course, as the trains then come along and plough through these next two lines, there is going to be some snow put back on here on the line that I am in the process of clearing. I mean, it won't be very much. It will be, you know, the smaller MSP will be able to deal with that. But I suspect each of these lines will probably have at least two runs with the ZZA along it. So we have it's either or either station coming up. I think it's either. No one's going to pay any attention to this. It'll still be, yeah, still standing on the stations, platforms, and yeah, just like nothing happening. Very much heading into the open countryside now. I think we may be leaving Middlesex and approaching, I can only assume it is Oxfordshire after Middlesex. So Langley station is coming up next. If I can actually set this to a speed where a throttle position where our speed will be a constant. That would suggest no, but we're going up at a slow enough rate that don't really need to worry about that too much. Slough is the next station. So that means we're in the area of Windsor. So that's Berkshire, isn't it? Not Oxfordshire. So, yep, Slough station just absolutely covered in snow there. But 17 miles to Reading, 15 minutes according to the ETA. Unsurprisingly, not much has changed in here. And another trackside view. We're getting really spoilt with these for this run. And another. And the opposite side for this final trackside view for now. We're also going a bit faster than we really should be. So Snowplough station is the next one we're going through. I don't know what this one is that we're passing through now. I couldn't see. But I mean, we were on an avoiding line anyway, so yeah, not a problem. Quite the densely populated suburban area here. So, Snowplough very much about to get completely, yeah, covered. I don't know if this is the Thames we're crossing here. Could well be. So we are approaching Maidenhead, a hateful place. I know I say that every single time, but I really cannot overstate how much I hate Maidenhead. Well, we're still certainly giving the platforms a properly good covering, and any shysters who may be standing on the platforms, they deserve it. Reading is now less than 10 miles away. It really does look like we're in the middle of nowhere. Well, until you turn around and look back, you see the edge of civilization. No idea what that AWS is for. We've got a Morpeth board there for 75. I mean, yeah, we are well below that. I'm not seeing anything on the route display though. These points here, which we're obviously not going over, they're the only things I can think of as to why that AWS showed. But yeah, like I say, we weren't going over them anyway. I think this is the outskirts of Reading that we are approaching. or it could be Twyford that we are approaching. Well, if they didn't hear that, then they deserve everything they've got coming to them. Yep, there's plenty of them on there. That must be the final station before we reach Reading itself. Reading is now only 4.5 miles away. again an AWS alert, again a Morphous board. I think it said 55, but nothing on the route display. Ah, we do have flashing signals. Single flashing yellow. So next one will be a solid one, and then yeah, that 40 mph marker there, that's where the points are. I mean, we're fine as far as our speed goes, so yeah, got nothing to worry about there. In fact, we've got a green light instead of the solid yellow. There we go. I'm not quite sure that they would really want to be moving us like this while we are doing the clearing of the lines, but nevertheless they have here. There we are. So that was London Paddington to Reading, with some pretty hefty snow clearing there in the class 33 using the ZZA Snowplough. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be the most challenging of drives you'll ever do in this game. But I think there are some scenarios that come with the with the snowplow, so I'm sure they will come up with something that's a bit more interesting to drive than this. I don't know if this is the sort of thing that anyone has particularly enjoyed watching or not. If you like watching these videos, then I dare say this is still you know, fine. But it is something a bit different, and like I say, that Snowplough has been free from Just Trains from the moment they first added it. So yeah, I will put a link to it in the description, and well, whether you're interested in it or not, I mean, you might as well grab it. It's something extra for your train simulator game. So yeah, there we go, completely clear run. Not all that surprising, because I was well below the line's speed limit throughout that entire run. So anyway, yes, that is that video done, and we will see you at the next one.